Good morning. It is just past 10 in the morning of day 17. That means that I have just under half an hour before meeting with my small group for fellowship. For breakfast this morning, we have a croissant, some hash browns, some salad, and I'm gonna watch some Netflix. Good afternoon. It is now 1:41 and I just finished meeting with my small group. Had a great time of discussion and laughter and encouragement, and my soul feels really happy. But it is now lunchtime, so let's take a look at what we have. So first, this is the hotel lunch. We have a chickpea, mushrooms, and other veggies in a cream sauce with some other vegetables and some spaghetti, and also the mandarin lemon juice, kumquat juice. But my aunt, oops, there's my cord. My aunt brought me fish and vegetables, so I'm probably gonna have this with the spaghetti. So as it is already day 17, I thought it'd be helpful or useful to do a quick hotel review in case anyone is interested in booking this hotel or just wanting to hear about my experience kind of on a more general note now that I've been here for 2.5 weeks. So first of all, I'm staying at the DORSETT TSUEN WAN hotel, and it's part of the Dorset chain in Hong Kong, which is actually part of a bigger brand, I think. So in Hong Kong, to my knowledge, they have 3 locations in total, one in Wan Chai, one in Mong Kok, and then this one in Tsuen Wan. So in terms of how I chose this hotel, so first of all, for Hong Kong quarantine hotels, there's actually a designated list. So all of these are quarantine hotels, meaning all of the guests that are coming in and out are guests who have actually gone through quarantine or will be going through quarantine. So when you come to Hong Kong at this time, you actually have to choose your hotel from one of those hotels. Previously, you were able to home quarantine, but now you actually have to choose from one of those hotels. So this one is actually one of the cheaper options. It's not the cheapest, and I'm actually glad I didn't choose one of the cheapest ones. I'll go into that a little bit later. But this is one of the more like inexpensive locations. And another big reason why I chose this one is because it's really close to one of my aunts who lives in Hong Kong. It's only about a 5 to 8 minute walk, so she's been able to bring me some food and also some home items, which has been really, really helpful and just helping me feel less like I'm in a hotel and more like at home, because I've been able to have some home cooked meals. So for me, location in that aspect was really important. If I didn't have any family in Hong Kong, then I think, even then I think location wouldn't have been a big thing, just because, you can't really go out anyways. I guess you could consider the food options that you have nearby, but I would say on a whole in Hong Kong, there's usually quite a few, food options nearby, so I wouldn't be too concerned about location since you'll be in quarantine anyways. This is not like a normal vacation. So Dorset actually it's actually a 4-star hotel, so I'm not sure what rating that is in terms of like, is it out of the 7-star, 9-star? It's probably out of the 5-star rating, I'm guessing, but I'm not really sure. But that doesn't really matter to me. Also because I don't get to experience a lot of the amenities anyway, so I hear they have like a fitness center or a swimming pool, but of course I don't get to experience those, so that star rating doesn't really mean too much to me. And I guess another big reason why I'm making this video is because before coming to Hong Kong, I knew I wanted to stay in this hotel primarily because of its proximity to my auntie, but also because I watched a lot of different people on YouTube who stayed in the same hotel and had a pretty positive experience. So none of the people I watched had like a suite like this, so I'm definitely like, you know, very blessed that way and very fortunate to have been given this huge room. I was expecting one of the smaller rooms and I would have been okay with it, but of course this is a very, very pleasant surprise, as I've mentioned before. But one of the YouTubers that I watched who stayed in this hotel, unfortunately her sister, who stayed in a different hotel, actually had a very, very negative experience. So that's why I'm making this video, so hopefully that this can be helpful for anyone who's considering coming to Hong Kong and trying to choose hotels, or is already planning to come to Dorset Tsuen Wan and wants to know a little bit of what's provided and whatnot. So in terms of, I'm not really going through this in any particular order, just a couple of things that came to mind. So in terms of, first of all, maybe cleanliness, this room is quite clean. The one exception to that is the floor. There are a couple of stains, but I didn't even realize that actually until I was actually doing some exercises on the ground, and then I realized, wow, there's actually, you know, some stains. But other than that, it's quite clean. Bathroom, beds and everything, I feel, you know, quite comfortable here. I haven't been using their towels, I will say that. I've been using, you know, a towel that my aunt brought me, especially for like my body. I've been using their towels for my hair because I don't really care as much about my hair, but otherwise I have been using my own towels for the most part. In terms of amenities with the items they give you, so I don't know if this is the same for every hotel, but Dorset Tsuen Wan has been bringing me items every Tuesday and Friday, so they've been really good about replenishing towels, like tea and coffee and sugar, toothbrushes, shower caps, plastic garbage bags, slippers, did I say towels? Towels, toilet paper, and also Kleenex. So they've been really, really good about making sure they give us enough items. I almost feel bad because they're giving me so much that there's no way I can get through it. So but there definitely is enough there. Second thing that's really important to me is to have enough desk space, because I spend a lot of time on my computer and I try not to use my computer too much on my bed. But you can see there's like quite a bit of desk space here. Which is good, especially for quarantine, as I think most people or some people would be doing some desk work or going on their computer or whatnot. And there's actually quite a bit of storage in terms of storing other things as well, like your luggages and other daily or other items. I will say that the mini fridge is right here, is not the biggest, which I think would make sense, you know, for anyone who's normally coming for vacation who might not spend a lot of time in their hotel room. If you only have a couple of small items, a mini fridge would be just fine. It's just, you know, during quarantine happened, I didn't expect, of course, that they would replace all the mini fridges with slightly bigger mini fridges. So that's not really a big deal. In terms of the comfort of the bed, it's comfortable, you know, everything is fine there. The one thing I would say is maybe the chair isn't the most comfortable, so having slightly more comfortable chair would have been nice, but that's not really a big deal. Before I put some towels on it just to make it have a little bit more padding, but that wasn't really a big thing. And this hotel is actually very, very efficient. So I believe most hotels will allow you to order food in. So when I have ordered food in that one time, and also when my aunt has been bringing me some food and items, the hotel gets it up to me within like 5 to 8 minutes of my aunt telling me, hey, I just dropped it off. So that's actually incredibly quick. So I'm pretty impressed by that. My food has been able to stay warm, or my dessert has been able to stay cold, which is good even when they bring it up. So I've had no issues with that at all. For me, my view is beautiful. I have a nice open view here and also a view here behind my phone. I'm lucky to have two views because I'm in a corner spot. I know a couple of the other people who I was watching on YouTube actually had a room on the opposite side of the hotel, and I know because the view they were showing me is the building that I can see right there. But for me, you know, I'm quite fortunate that I have, you know, these two views. Of course, the proximity of this building and the next one is quite close. So I think the other day I was actually able to see someone watching TV, which is not, you know, which is pretty normal in Hong Kong because it's so dense. It's normal for buildings to be close together. So during the day, I usually leave my blinds open, but then at night, just to feel a little bit more comfortable, I do close all my blinds. And I guess, and so the Wi-Fi is a big thing. Because I have so many Zoom calls and video calls, having good internet was a big must for me. So the internet has been pretty good. I have noticed that, you know, if my Zoom calls are kind of between 2 a.m. and 10 a.m. like they mostly are, then the internet isn't as bad. Like the Wi-Fi is pretty good and I don't usually get kicked out of my calls or have any issues. But kind of after 10 a.m., I think maybe when other people start waking up, then it does get a little bit spotty and I have been kicked out of my calls a couple of times. Now I will say kind of before that 10 a.m. mark, the call isn't perfect. So sometimes it's a little bit glitchy in terms of the video. Some of my students have been saying, oh, you froze, but like the audio still goes through. It's just the picture is a little bit blurry or has frozen. And for the most part, that's okay. You know, I think it's more important for my students to hear me and hear what I'm saying, but it's not the best, definitely not as good as the Wi-Fi I have at home, but it's not a big deal. It's only a couple of weeks and yeah, it's really not that big of a problem. So I guess in terms of thinking of things that I might change for this place, first of all, it's already been really good, very, very positive experience. But a couple of things that I might change is that having a comfier chair would be nice. Oh, and talking about the desk, I actually had a friend who was telling me about someone else who was in a different hotel, in a different quarantine hotel, and they had to like fight for a room that had a desk in it. So I'm guessing some of their rooms didn't have desks, and even the desk they got was like pretty puny, which I think is unfortunate. Thankfully I didn't have to, you know, fight for this desk. It's more than enough, but especially if you're going to be doing desk work, make sure you have enough, you know, sufficient space for you to be working on. So yes, if this fridge could be a little bit bigger and if this chair could be a little bit comfier, that would be nice, but it's not a big deal. The AC here is a little bit loud, not like super loud, but a little bit. So at night I either turn it on the lowest option or sometimes I even turn it off, just because it goes and sometimes I have a little bit of trouble, you know, going to bed, falling asleep. But that might have to do more with like jet lag and my sleep schedule and less of the sound of the AC, but it's not really that big of a deal. But if you're a very, very light sleeper, then that's maybe something to consider. And that's really the main thing. I was really pleasantly surprised, especially with, you know, the price of the place. It is one of the cheaper hotels, like I mentioned, but I've been having a really, really positive experience. Oh, sorry. I guess if there were two maybe small things that I could change, I don't know if this is possible administratively or if, you know, legally. I think, you know, for me, I've been eating most of the hotel food. A couple of the meals have started to get a little bit repetitive, or some parts of the meals. But I actually saw a couple of people on YouTube who didn't eat the hotel meals at all and only ordered in. So I'm assuming, you know, they just got the meals, left it at the door, you know, took it inside their room, but then left it at the door basically and didn't touch it, which is a huge waste of food. So I'm not sure how this works administratively, if it'd be a lot of paperwork or a lot of organization, but if, you know, if the people staying in quarantine can actually opt in or opt out of meals, I think that would be good, because it's a lot of food waste and it's very, very sad. And of course, you know, once the meals, even if you don't touch them, they're not going to, for obvious reasons, they're not going to give those meals to other people, especially with COVID. So I think that if there's a way for them to, you know, somehow manage that, that would be better. It's also not only the food waste, but also a lot of plastic that is used in the meals as well. So if there's a way to regulate that, that would be good, so that they can know, you know, who's actually eating the food and who isn't. And I guess second thing too is, you know, they've given me a lot of extra, like, you know, garbage bags and toilet paper and all of those. And I'm pretty sure that once I leave, even if I weren't to bring them with me, I will bring them with me. But I think even if I were to leave them here, I don't think they would reuse them, just because of COVID and everything, which I think is also a big waste. So if there was a way for guests to almost like order how many items of each, you know, how many the quantity of each item that they need, that they would need, I think that would create less waste. And I think that would be kind of good, as opposed to having so much extra. There really is no way for me to get through all of that toilet paper, especially because today's only Friday. I'm leaving Tuesday night, so Wednesday early morning, but I'm gonna get another delivery on Tuesday morning. So unless I have huge stomach issues, or a lot of nosebleeds, I've never even had one in my life before, there's no way I'm gonna get through that toilet paper or that Kleenex. So it's just a big waste. So if there's a way, you know, for the hotel to manage it, you know, either to have their guests, you know, sign up or complete an online form or something to somehow regulate how many, like, the items included in each delivery, even though I know that'd be a lot more work for them, I think it would create less waste. But overall, I'm very, very happy with my stay here. And a service desk, reception desk has always been very, very helpful whenever I had any questions. I haven't had too many, but they've been helpful. And so this is a very, very positive experience. I would recommend it, but I am very fortunate, you know, with my space and everything. But yes, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Good evening. It is just past midnight of day 18, but I still see it as the night of day 17 because I haven't even had dinner yet. But I'm gonna wake up, have dinner, do allocation, and then call it a day. For dinner today is a fungus black mushroom and other mushroom and veggie dish and more veggies and rice and also an orange. Today's allocation topic is appreciation of beauty and excellence, and it prompted me to consider something that maybe I don't appreciate the beauty of often, and I definitely think that would be scenery for me. So my room back in Calgary is actually in the basement, so it's a little bit difficult for me to see outside the window, and I spend a lot of time in my room, so I don't usually spend a lot of time, you know, looking outside and enjoying the scenery, other than like going outside on walks. Once I'm actually inside, I don't think much about it, but because I have all these windows here, I've actually been taking some time just to look outside each morning or at night, and it's been really nice to see, you know, what's around me and taking the scenery in. And today's practical tip was actually to get some sunlight each morning and to turn down bright lights in the evening to help regulate sleep patterns. But that's been a little bit tough to do just because I have to be up a lot during the middle of the night. I do love the sunshine, so that's been nice to get, you know, some light. But hopefully my sleeping patterns will become more regular once I take naps. Once I stop taking naps in the middle of the day, once I'm out of quarantine. I think that if I force myself to leave the house, you know, in the middle of the day, that should help a little bit. So that's the end of day 17, but already the beginning of 18 because it's actually past midnight already. But we'll see what day 18 looks like. It's crazy to me that I'm almost done. Bye!